Good evening, everyone. Hail Trace meteorologist Martin Lattimore here. Taylor Cox is going to be joining us pretty soon, but I want to hop on live right now as we are seeing a tornadic supercell moving its way toward Oklahoma City. So, for any of us that are going to be joining, make sure to ask where you are. If you want any details, just make sure to place where you are in the comments, and we will get to those and answer your questions pretty soon. All right, so let's just get right into the main event we're seeing right now. Only two tornado warnings across the entire nation right now. I do want to give at least a very brief overview of what we're seeing. We're seeing a couple of these tornado watches across parts of Illinois and Indiana. Luckily, only flash flood warnings are currently active as of right now, so no severe thunderstorm warnings at this point in time. Moving further south, stretching in from about north central Missouri all the way down to south or northwest Texas. We are going to be seeing this severe thunderstorm watch, but the main event obviously is right now these two cells moving their way in toward Oklahoma City. These have already had reports of baseball-sized hail. This one just near Carnegie. This is in Mountain View. Broadcast media reported 2.75-inch hailstone. That is that baseball-sized hailstone. Now, just south of El Reno, this is one we're watching very closely due to how close it is to the city of Oklahoma City. More you can see right now. We're going to zoom in really closely to this, just showing just Oklahoma City and this one cell. If we move over and include our velocity, which tells us moving away and close to the radar, that is definitely the reason why they are calling it for a tornado warning. Very tight, what we call a couplet. And this right here is basically showing clashing winds. We have winds moving away and toward the radar, so signifying that rotation in this cell. You can see again, reds and greens clashing quite a bit. This is just near Union City, so suburbs of Oklahoma City are being affected. Radar's kind of trying to put out about 1.25-inch hailstone. I believe this is warned for not 1-inch hail, but about that nickel-sized hail. So 0.88 inches, that is that nickel-sized hail in this cell. But of course, the biggest reason is, of course, that tornado warning that we're warning, and this is making its way. Current trajectory has it put close to just in between Oklahoma City and Morse, the I-35 corridor, just south of I-40. So very familiar with this area, so I'll be able to really pinpoint exactly where, who's going to be affected and when. So Minco, you're going to be seeing this very soon. So make sure if you are in Minco, make sure to be in that safe space. Tuttle, headquarters of Brahms, a very important place for Oklahoma. Going to be seeing this very soon. You're already in that warning. Mustang, you're not warned yet, but you will be seeing this tornadic supercell probably making its way into your area very soon. And of course, making its way in downtown Oklahoma City, Valley Brook, more. You'll be seeing this within a little bit. Now, the reason why I kind of waited until just about this storm went right into Oklahoma City, it's not moving very fast. It's actually a very slow mover. 16 knots, that roughly translates to only about 18, 19 miles an hour. So this is school zone speeds, really. This cell's moving. We've put it in motion. Not really a whole lot of speed out of this cell, but it is still spinning for sure. You can see that rotation. There's that inflow right there on the inside. And it is, there's other cell right here that's kind of pushing that inflow. Actually, did they just let that warning go? All right, that is good. We have only one thing to focus on when it comes to terms of tornadoes. If we do want to look at the hail possibility, let's pull up the correlation coefficient real quick. We can see not right now. There is maybe a little bit of a chance of some hail spike. I believe that actually that could be right there, a little hail spike right there. So we could be seeing some hail just north of Union City. There's a couple drop-offs, what we call the correlation coefficient right here. That is possibly indicative of a little bit of hail. Again, out toward places like Fort Cobb, you're probably seeing this cell dropping a couple hailstones here. I'm a little bit concerned about that spot right there because that correlates to about right there, right there. And that could bring us a couple of those hailstones. So back to the cell near Union City. It's still giving a good little spin right now in this cell. You can see where it kind of is pulling in that inflow, that cooler air, and that is kind of helping the warm and cold air clash. That is really supporting that rotation. So kind of going backing out. Anybody, if you want to know what you're going to be looking at for the rest of your day, make sure to leave your comments down below where you are at. So post those comments and questions down in the comments, and I'll get to them as soon as I can for you. All right, again, tornado warning just outside of Oklahoma City. This is just to the west of Mustang, far west of Oklahoma City. So it's just touching the outskirts of Oklahoma City right now. It's got those suburbs that are seeing them as of this moment, but not Oklahoma City proper yet. Severe thunderstorm warning is all the way from Piedmont down toward Chickasha. You're going to be seeing that severe thunderstorm warning. It is warned for your winds up to 60-mile-an-hour wind gust and that nickel-sized hail. So not necessarily your severe hail just yet. But you are also seeing this other cell down here with 1-inch hail. This is heading its way into Anadarko. A couple little hail spikes could be possible there as well. You're seeing again those hail spikes. You can tell because our radar is right here, the KTLX. That is our radar that we are watching. And if you see these little yellow, possibly green lines that are directing straight away from the radar, that is what we call a hail spike. That is a very definitive hail spike right there. You could tell just from the last frame where it was kind of noticeable to very noticeable now. So that little section right there, this is just north of Union City. I would not be surprised if there's some good hailers in this one right here, seeing the drop off in the correlation coefficient and the big increase when it comes to that reflectivity matching with the drop off in that correlation coefficient. It is a big drop off. It could be, let's see, what is this model trying to put out? Just around 1-inch hail. And again, we could be seeing that 1-inch hail for sure in this little cell. I want to give one last overview before things start changing. Actually, they just updated that warning near Anadarko in the most recent update. And so we're going to be seeing this possibly updating in just a second. So we'll let that update really quickly. Let me take a drink here. I got the coffee because I don't know how long it's going to be. There's that new severe thunderstorm warning. We're going to get the latest info from this. So we're seeing Anadarko moving at 30 miles an hour. So the cell down to the south is a little bit faster than this one up here. So we look at this one moving east at 19 knots. This one is moving east at 27 knots. So roughly 20 miles an hour for the cell to the north. That is that tornado warned cell. 30 miles an hour for that cell that is currently just severe warned. To the south of OKC near Anadarko, passing Carnegie. I believe we actually had a couple reports of hail in Carnegie. There's that hail report right there. Again, this one has already had a report of baseball-sized hail. So just places near Mountain View. I got a couple places over at Gatobo, I believe it's Gotebo. That's probably what it is. Have seen 2-inch hailstones. So that hen egg size hail. The newest radar loop right here has a pretty good little spin going on it. So let's move over to our reflectivity. I'm just going to pull up the four panel real quick so we can get a better view of what's going on. We're just going to pull up all of the radars for us right now. They actually just rewarned that severe thunderstorm warning near Carnegie to a tornado warning. So we're going to be taking a look at that one yet again when it comes to the spin of this system. So you can tell, yeah, there it is. Let's see the most recent little updates. Yeah, you can tell, see this the little finger right here of this red. You can see as it wraps around, that's probably the reason why they warned it, was for that just to the south of Fort Cobb, some of that what we call embedded rotations, not really the leading edge, kind of like this one right here, like the most right showing high reflectivity. That was actually the thunder that we're hearing here as well. And I'm probably going to be seeing some storms pretty soon here at Edmond. But this is the more of the classic hook echo that we see with most supercells. This one is an embedded rotation. Rotation is actually right here. So it's basically smack dab in the middle of this little cell. Normally you see them out toward the most leading edge of these cells. I'm going to move the most advanced right here. Let's see the most recent. Yeah, the most recent, we got that Union City. You can see that push up north. I don't really have an arrow that I can point, but this has been pushing that brighter greens, pushing north in Crown Minco. That really right there is going to be what we're seeing for this cell right now moving into Union City. There she is. There's Taylor.
Hey, Martin.
you doing? Yeah, had to hop on because we had the tornado warned cell kind of get a little bit close to Oklahoma City. I was expecting a warning by then, but the thing is this cell's only moving about 19 miles an hour.
Yeah, these are slow movers. It's something we talked about earlier today, which I'm sure that you've explained so far, is that this low is moving slow and the cold front is moving slow. So it feels like we've waited all night for these storms to get here, but they are finally here. And it looks like, as messy as this thing is, it looks like it's going to continue to be tornado warned as it slowly comes into the metro. And I like that you're watching that southern cell too, because we've got to absolutely keep an eye on that for potentially producing a tornado in the Chickasha area.
Yeah, it looked like it was warned earlier, but is no longer warned at this time. So that is good. We just have one cell to focus on. Let's see, one, two, three. It means we have another severe thunderstorm warning out there. It's time to get a larger zoom. Looks like it might be one that's a bit older because it does not appear we have any severe thunderstorm warnings out there. A couple flash flood warnings out here in Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio. They've had a lot of rain. There's that other warning. Looks like a warning near Kenton, Ohio. This is probably just actually below, almost below garden variety. It's actually being warned for 3/4 inch hail. Which is that? Is that penny-sized hail? I believe 3/4 inch.
Very small, yeah, like Dippin' Dot size.
So not exactly damaging, but they are seeing that 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. Actually, they just issued a flash flood warning behind this cell near Carnegie. Flash flood warning. It's one of the things that people, don't really pay attention to too much is those flash flood warnings. It is a big killer. They've already had 1 to 2 inches of rainfall in a very quick area. Rainfall expected another inch. So flash flooding is already ongoing or expected in this area. Going back to that Tornadic Supercell, these have had a history of producing a tornado, or at least trying to produce a tornado. I believe we did have one I believe it was Illinois. We had a confirmed tornado, but none so far. I believe in Oklahoma. Could be mistaken though. It looks like they just shaved down a little bit of that tornado warning a little bit. You can see from the last frame they kind of just caught it up to the back end of that cell there. So they're kind of just basically refreshing. But I am seeing that they're not expanding the tornado warning. That couplet it's not linear yet, Taylor, but it definitely is less pronounced than what it was before. I could see them turning this into just a severe thunderstorm warning, but I could also, because it's going through the metro, they could probably end up just expanding this tornado warning into the Oklahoma City metro.
Yeah, well, and what we have to watch for is just how slow it's moving. So they may actually be waiting until it's on the edge of that warning, on the edge of that polygon to expand that into the metro, just because of how slow it's moving, right? We don't want to warn people too early because then they get in their safe place and then they wait 20, 30 minutes and the storm still hasn't arrived because of how slow it's moving. I bet if we had a faster moving system, they would have warned it for the metro by now. But since it's moving so slow, we have plenty of lead time here. I bet that we won't see that warning until we see this storm get closer to the end or the far east side of that polygon. Other than that, as you mentioned earlier, we also have the severe thunderstorm warning that is warned for wind mainly and pretty small hail, nickel-sized hail. So the big threats, I think, if people are jumping on and saying, what should I be concerned about? Obviously, watch that area that's tornado warned right now, and then watch the flooding potential, because what we're going to see is not only a lot of rain, but a lot of rain that's going to happen for a long period of time because of the slow movement of these storms. And then a lot of rain behind this storm. We have another storm just a little bit to the south that's going to come over some of these same areas, going to bring us more rain. So we asked for rain. Now we're almost getting too much of it.
Yeah, and Justin, answering your question about Warrensburg, Missouri, you are seeing right now. You're still in the warm sector, so you could see some of these storms eventually forming into a line. But granted, we're still seeing you are on a severe thunderstorm watch, so you could see some of these storms going severe as they pass you by. So you're seeing right now in this area, pretty much all of Missouri sitting in those 60s for our dew points. Meanwhile, behind it, in Kansas and parts of Nebraska here in the 30s and 40s in those dew points. So it definitely is something that we're watching to see Warrensburg. So I wouldn't say you're out of the severe weather threat just yet. But as long as these storms are kind of remaining as weak as they are across this region. Looking like the possibility is slim, but I am going to say keep an eye out at least until you're lifted from that watch. Back to this cell in Oklahoma City. Again, last thing they've done is they've kind of clipped it, kind of shaved it down a little bit. There's a little, actually, they just warned. I'm surprised my weather radio is not going off. Actually, no, I turned it off for severe thunderstorm. It only does it for tornado warnings now because it woke me up at like 5 a.m. at one morning. So most recently updated severe thunderstorm warning now including all the Oklahoma City metro, stretching up to Edmond, where we are, all the way down to Moore and Norman. So pretty much the entirety of the Oklahoma City metro has been put under a severe thunderstorm warning. They have downgraded to nickel. Well, no, it's actually the same as what it was before. Nickel-sized hail and max winds of 60 miles an hour. So we are going to be watching that one as it does move in. 48 minutes left in this severe thunderstorm warning. It is speeding up a little bit. I'm willing to bet it's probably because of this guy down here. This cell is actually moving a bit faster, Taylor. I think they have it going 30 miles an hour versus this one was moving 20. Now it's moving 25. So it might be kind of pushing, giving a little bit of energy to the cell in front of it and kind of helping it move along. Definitely would like for it to move a little bit faster just so we avoid more of that flash flooding potential. But
Yeah, I
so
agree.
anybody watching from Oklahoma City, all the way from Edmond, north of Edmond, all the way down to almost Purcell, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning now.
Yeah, and so what you guys are going to see here is you're going to see a ton of lightning coming into the metro. I mean, even probably before we jumped on, you guys were probably already hearing the thunder. You're going to see more lightning now, and then you're going to get that heavy rain that's going to last for quite some time. The hail risk here is going to be pretty low, but that wind risk, 60 miles an hour, pretty marginally severe. What the big threat that we're watching for, that the National Weather Service has mentioned in several of these warnings, is that tornado potential. So could we see a tornado with some of these storms? Absolutely, it's possible. You can see that area highlighted in red. That's your tornado warning right now. But if you go down a little bit, Martin, to the south near Fort Cobb, Stecker, Gracemont, Anadarko, this storm, while it's not tornado warned, yep, that one right there, that's on the far left side of the screen, it's actually on my screen outlined in a considerable tag. Now that doesn't mean that, or it's got a larger polygon or a thicker line. Basically what that means, what I'm trying to say, is that they're saying, while it's severe warned, we could see a tornado from this. They're saying a tornado is not impossible here. They can't identify the exact area. They're not saying that there's a tornado on the ground. They're just saying it's possible. So basically what we call this is a severe thunderstorm warning with a TOR tag, potential tornado warning to come depending on how this thing develops. And they've got that in their discussion here. I can tell you exactly what they say. Remain alert for a possible tornado. Tornadoes can develop quickly from severe thunderstorms. Do we have a lot of lightning on our cams?
Oh, yeah, we got a lot of lightning.
Tons of lightning.
This is one of the cameras from, well, let's just let it go. That is one of our cameras. This right here, I believe, is on I-40. Let me check real quick. Let me verify. This is over on Route 66 in the intersection of 344. So we are seeing this one is pointed westward. A lot of that lightning over there that you could see that. It won't let me go full screen with it. So it kind of irks me a little bit. But yeah, you can see a good view right there. I'm going to continue to look for more traffic cameras, but just to see if we can get a better view of some more of that lightning. Wow, I pulled it off and immediately a big lightning, big old flash of lightning out there. But yeah, so I'm going to try to pull a couple cameras just because we're able to get a good view out there of what we're looking at. I wish I could tell which direction these are. There we go. Now we have this one facing westward here. So we can get a good view. This is just near Purcell, I believe. And that's how you get a full screen. Okay. But let's see. This one is I-40 and Council. This is just south of Bethany. So just outside of Oklahoma City on I-40. Heavily used road out there. And this is facing westward now. So we can get a good view. I'm going to kind of leave this. Let me see if I can try to have this down below real quick.
Yeah, I'd love to see that in one of those boxes down here. While you do that, Martin, I want to show everyone some of the things that we saw earlier tonight. So we saw some really large hail earlier tonight. I'm sure that's why a lot of people are jumping on, because we saw hail that was reported to be about baseball, if not a little bit larger than baseball size hail. That was in Mountain View, Oklahoma, pretty small town. We also saw some reports from Hinton, Oklahoma, also pretty small town, but just earlier tonight, a ton of hail in these areas, and they were pretty large hailstones as well. So just kind of a look at the history of this storm system. It is or was capable of producing some decently large hail. Gotebo, Mountain View. Right now, what we're seeing, obviously, if we go through the next hour or two, is that most of these storms, they've weakened as they've come into Oklahoma City, but now we're seeing some stronger storms in the metro. So these storms have a history of producing large hail. We're think going to do now, but we're keeping an eye on it. But for anyone who's wondering about the hail that happened earlier tonight, we did see some really, really large hail out in western Oklahoma, Hinton, Binger, Carnegie areas, Mountain View, Gotebo, all got some decently large hail.
Yeah, we've actually got the camera down below as well, so you can get a good view. Take a look at that. This is again right off 540. Looks like a little bit of rain ahead of this. You can see those roads are a little bit on the wet side. You can see some good reflections on some of the vehicles. So we are seeing a little bit of rain, but obviously the main event hasn't gotten in. Timeline for OKC from Evan Perry. We're watching it right now. Again, these storms are moving relatively slow. I'm going to get my other screen real quick just so I can kind of pull this up. But let's take a look at this right here. So Oklahoma City, you're currently in that severe thunderstorm warning already. I'm going to take away a few boxes so we can focus on the radar real quick. But well, this is not wanting to. Give me 1 second. I want to pull this back up again. I want to I want to let us make sure we're always watching it. There we go. So let me pull this back up. It just throws it away. Hold on. I'm going to fix this real quick. I know how to fix this. There we go. All right. Now we can actually do this. So we are watching the severe thunderstorm warning moving through. Hail is below severe limits, but we're seeing the winds at 60 miles an hour. Tornado warning. Actually, they just cut it again. You're just watching this in real time right here. Cutting it down. Very small polygon. This is only in Union City and Minco. So you are seeing it's moving at 30 miles an hour, 35 miles an hour. So it's actually speeding up just a little bit. Oklahoma City, roughly, I would say within the next 10 to 15 minutes, you're going to be seeing this cell. Obviously, it depends on which part of Oklahoma City you're in. If you're on the west side of Oklahoma City, you're already seeing this cell moving in right now. If you're on the east side, it'll be a little bit longer before you actually see this cell into your part of Oklahoma City. This is being really funky with me. Does not like it when I minimize it. But we are watching this one again very closely. Models trying to put out 1-inch hail just north of where this rotation would be. If there would be a tornado, it'd be right about right here, just north of Tuttle, heading toward Mustang. So it is a note for concern. They haven't rewarned this yet, and they've actually just put in a flash flood warning across this entire region. Again, Taylor was saying these are moving slow. The possibility of flooding absolutely is there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I'll even say, like, we got a little bit of rain earlier today, so the ground is already wet. I wouldn't call it saturated by any means, but it's already wet out there. We've already got a little bit of rain. I can actually look up exactly how much rain we got earlier today. So the ground is already wet. It's going to become very saturated here in just a minute. Oh yeah, I mean, we're not talking about a lot, maybe a few 100s in Oklahoma City areas. Now, obviously, that number goes up the farther west that you go because we already got storms out in this area earlier today. And then, of course, we're going to get more over the next few minutes. I'm actually wondering, so in places like Hinton that have already gotten hit tonight, they're sitting at 1 inch and about 2/10 of rain. So we can expect that much here in Oklahoma City. So expect about 1 inch at least from these storms. It's not about how much rain we get, though. It's about how fast that comes in. Do we have some good lightning? Very nice lightning.
It was a lightning strike as it was small, but you can see the lightning out there. This is, again, just off of Route 66 near the, oh, wow, that was some really good lightning there. Double strike, actually. But yeah, so the one thing that we can absolutely, we are watching for a tornado possibility in this cell, but we are absolutely going to get as a light show for sure with this cell. So let's kind of look. I'm going to zoom in closer to our radar so we can actually have it as minimized for a second. So while we look at that traffic camera, it just went off and we're back. All right, cool. So a lot of lightning with this cell here. This is pointed westward. I want to re-verify. Yes, this is off of 344 and Route 66. I'm going to get this full screen back again. A lot of you that are living in Oklahoma City, seeing quite a bit of lightning already. I'm not hearing any, and poking out the window, I don't
I've got
see.
tons outside my window right now. I mean, it's so loud out there. I'm surprised if you can't hear it on over my stream. It's just thunder every maybe 20, 30 seconds. Yeah, there you go. Ooh, that's a very nice strike. Holy moly.
Oh yeah, we're getting some good lightning out of this right now. I can't hear anything yet. I guess I must be just a little bit too far north to actually be hearing much right now. A lot of
Yeah,
lightning in
you'll
that
get that
camera.
here pretty soon. Question about DFW. So DFW, you guys are out of the risk right now. You guys will get storms as we head into the overnight hours and into early tomorrow morning. But the closest storm to you right now, DFW, is in Graham, which I don't know exactly how far away that is. I would say, what is that, like 70 miles away? I may be way shooting that. Oh, I'm not, honestly, from Fort Worth, it's about 70 miles away. Okay. So yeah, you guys have a while, and especially as we mentioned earlier, how slow these storms are moving, we've got a while until we see storms in DFW. You'll probably have a very similar situation to what we're having right now in DFW early tomorrow morning. So we're talking about mainly a wind risk, but a potential low tornado risk as well. I will have to say my lights are also flickering here. So if I do lose
Oh
power,
boy.
yeah,
Let us
you guys
say
know
it
how that
could
goes.
be a big possibility of seeing it lose power for a third time this week.
Lightning firing off in Bethany is crazy. I can see it outside my window. It's it is crazy. I totally agree, Kent. This is the second, third time that we've gotten this week. We've gotten an absolute lightning show. Thankful for the rain, but you guys remember that we have that flooding risk in effect as well.
I'm going to see if we can find a different camera a little bit further south. This is over on JK. This is over as a 240 and 152. See, do we have a westward view? We have a north. Oh, no, that's the camera shift. Do we have a westward view? It's pointing to the ground, unfortunately. Trying to get a good view of a western sky. That might be a good one. It's got a good little view of the sky. Remember, these are traffic cameras, so unfortunately, they're really pointing toward the roads primarily, but they're also really great weather cameras that are publicly accessible. Oh wow! Oh, I'm so mad. That was a very very bright
So
strike there.
close.
I'm gonna leave this here for a second because it was a very very bright. So I'm gonna move that back up front again so you guys can get a better view of it. Again, this is over just off of 240 and 152. So right along some of those major interstates surrounding Oklahoma City. Very big lightning strike there. Going down to what I'm seeing right now on the radar, I'm going to inform you guys while we keep that camera full view. Oh,
I do want to note when you're looking at radar, Martin, we've got an alert for some really strong wind going into Tuttle, Newcastle, and maybe even more here pretty soon. The National Weather Service has said, and this is their words, potential for very damaging straight line wind and a low to medium tornado risk in the following locations through 10 o'clock tonight. Tuttle, Minko, Newcastle, Bridge Creek, Mustang, Moore, and Valley Brook. If you need extra time to shelter before warnings are issued, now is the time to do it. And again, that's coming from the National Weather Service. They're saying potential tornado and damaging wind gusts up to 80 miles an hour. 80 miles an hour between Pocasset, Tuttle, and Newcastle. And that is from, if we pull up the radar, I'm going to pull it up one more time. That's from this bulge you can see it just bulging out of Tuttle right now and into Mustang. That's the area that you absolutely need to watch for some strong wind over the next hour.
I
Will
guess
it
I'm
hit
not seeing.
Iowa? No, no,
No,
Iowa
not today.
is in the clear. Yeah, you guys had a pretty decent chance for tornadoes earlier today, but I think this low pressure system wasn't working with you guys to get tornadoes, which is great news that you got. I mean, there's still low pressure system up there. You don't have anything severe in Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at GR Earth. I'm seeing that south of Cedar Rapids and east of Des Moines, the cold front hasn't gotten through yet, and the warm front is positioned correctly, where we still have pretty decent dew points there. So in the like very extreme southeastern portion of Iowa, there could be some more severe storms, but the rest of the state is pretty much out of the clear. Any Wisconsin, no. Sitting in dew points in the 30s, and you are on the wrong side of the front, so you will not be seeing any severe weather today. I guess that mine hasn't updated yet because I'm not seeing any of that new tag that they've added on here. I'm still seeing 60-mile-an-hour winds and nickel-sized hail for this warning. So unless I'm not getting up-to-date info real quick. Let me see if I can try to
So
look
this
at
is coming from the National Weather Service of Norman's Facebook page, excuse me,
Gotcha.
Twitter page. So they just kind of gave a little bit of extra information over here. I can send it to you, Martin.
Mhm.
It's just highlighting an area, and we actually may be able to show this as well, highlighting an area that they're not officially warning yet. Again, I think because of the slow movement of these storms. Let me find this real quick and share it with you guys. And so they're not warning this area quite yet, or all of this area. You know, they've warned a portion of this area for strong wind, but they're highlighting this area in red because of that strong wind threat between Tuttle and Newcastle, and then the southern or most of Moore is an area that they're highlighting, and then maybe just to the north of Norman. So it's not warned yet, or maybe it's included in that severe thunderstorm warning. They're just highlighting this to say, like, there could absolutely be some strong wind in here.
I am looking for a newer camera, one that's a little bit closer to Oklahoma City. I'm trying to get a little bit further away from from the storm so we can see much better lightning with this cell. This is right over I-40. Let's see if we can get one on 240 that will give us a nice view. That might do right there. That is a good view. This is over on, I want to make sure, 240 and Meridian. So we are seeing this one over on 240 and Meridian. Plenty of lightning already. Let's see. I'm trying to recoup exactly where we're watching from. So I believe that would be trying to see exactly which road we are on. Let me pull back up the radar real quick so we can show that again one last time. It looks like they have, luckily, tornado warning is now expired and they have allowed it to expire. So no more tornado warning. I do want to pull up our velocity real quick. Yeah, it's really flattened out. But as Taylor was mentioning, I want to pull up the base velocity because you could see this big bow right here. This right here is what they were warning about with the short-term potential for extremely strong winds in this little cell right here, moving through Mustang and Tuttle, and just right now trying to make its way into Newcastle. So it's that bow right here. That's that big, as you're pulling back like a long bow. That's what we're talking about with that kind of bowing motion with these more. I don't want to say linear storms, but they are kind of conglomerating into lines at this point. So you could kind of call it sort of quasi linear in a sense. But really, this is just the north of Mustang moving its way through Tuttle. I would not be surprised if we see some reports of wind out of Tuttle. But we're starting to see this moving in toward parts of Moore. So if you're in Moore, you're starting to see a little bit of rain, maybe seeing some heavier rain in Valley Brook, this little mini cell kind of ahead of that just in South Oklahoma City. A lot of lightning with this one. Let's see if I can see if we can
Tons
see
of lightning. Holy
northward.
moly.
Eastward. That's the wrong. So I want to try to get something. Let's see. Oklahoma City. Yeah, this is just to the south. So I'm trying to nail it to where we can maybe see some wind going, get some wind action going on as well. Doesn't look like we have any wind going on here, but it is some heavy rainfall. So I believe they've already gotten that. So we're going to go here real quick. Doesn't look like it's super heavy rain. It's a little difficult to tell. We're
I
getting
think
lightning
that it
behind
is.
this.
I've
Yeah, we're
got,
getting lightning behind it, so it probably is.
Yeah, and I think that the rain is really heavy because I see a lot of people on some of these ODOT cameras. They are turning on their hazards as they drive, and even some are sheltering under the overpass, which is, of course, something that we say never to do. However, it
Mhm.
does look like that's happening in some of these cameras that I see. So let me find the exact camera that we are seeing that on, Martin, and I will tell you the location of it.
This one right here is on Southwest 44th and 240 is what we're looking at right now.
So this one that I see is on South Highway 66. Let me get
South
that for
Highway and
you.
66. Oh, it's a little bit north. Let's see. Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. This is what's the one you're talking about right here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Mm,
it. And
Oh,
it's
wait.
hard to
Uh,
see. Let's
Give
hide
me
some of these
1
things so that people
second.
can see that we've got a car sheltering under the overpass. And a few people every now and then, whenever they drive by, they've got their hazards on. And I mean, obviously, there's a ton of lightning, probably some pretty low visibility from the rain as well.
Big lightning.
Something that we can't really tell uh, from the screen here. But the fact that they're sheltering under the overpass really tells me that the rain must be so heavy that we've got low visibility in these areas.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Actually, when that car passed, I could see individual, like I could see the extremely big raindrops hitting, but
Yeah.
you can kind of see it little by little. But yeah,
I've seen
you
a
also
lot of people,
noticing.
they're slowing their speed. Usually in this highway, they move pretty fast, and
Well,
I'm
you can
seeing
see on
people slow down.
Interstate 40, it's actually registering slower traffic across this area. So it absolutely people are slowing down right now, which you should. When it's raining this heavy, you absolutely should slow down or to back up a bit more, get closer to the city so we can try to get ahead of these storms. I want to get a good view of some more lightning as well, possibly. And we can see a little bit of that. Let's just go 40 and 35. Let's see if we've got any good views out there. This is one of those bug eye cams that I can't stand. Let's see. Over Oklahoma City, see the downtown area and a whole bunch of lightning. Very busy traffic right now. It's Friday night. A lot of people are getting out. So if you are perchance maybe going to be going out sometime soon, I'd say wait an hour. It might be a good idea to kind of just be chill for a little bit and wait for this storm to roll past. Because honestly, once we get past this storm, beyond a little bit of more rain, we're not really expecting any more higher end severe weather threats. Now, we could see some more, but let me check our dew points behind this front. Yeah, dew points falling off a cliff right after this front moves past. So I would say I want to say we're probably going to be seeing the end of the severe weather threat once we have this storm roll by. Yeah, there's
I
that
just
heavy
pulled up
rainfall
another
there as
one,
well.
and everyone has their hazards on here. I mean, everyone, some people are pulled over on the side of the road, but everyone has their hazards on here. And this is usually a highway that you don't have too many stop go unless it's like 5 o'clock traffic. And everyone is just obviously slowing down, especially whenever they get into more of this traffic. So hazards are on. That means that it's raining really, really hard loud out there right now as well. I can hear it outside of my window, so I'm sure a lot of people are hearing that probably before they even see these storms. I'm gonna go ahead and hide this.
I'm starting to hear some rumbles of thunder here in Edmond, and we are beginning to see maybe a little bit of a collapse of that leading edge. A little bit, you can see it was very defined. Probably the peak of it was right there. That is a perfect bow echo pattern that you're seeing in this one. I'm going to actually pull up the radar just really quickly so we can show at least maybe a little bit of. Well, it's not going to. There we
There we go.
go. Oh, you can do it, but apparently I can't. Oh, wait. I think it's delayed. Okay. But just one little overview of this. We can see there's the past frame, and as we advance, starting to see it kind of getting a little bit messy almost. It's not like a perfect bow that much anymore, but still, the possibility of those stronger winds are going to be there. I'm really hoping that they give us a new warning pretty soon, maybe with a considerable tag. Um, going into Oklahoma City. This is looking like it's probably going to make its way into more Valley Brook, very popular places right now. Again, it's a Friday night. People are going to be out. Starting to see some of that heavier rain on my camera. I do want to show it really quickly because this is actually very close to downtown Oklahoma City. I think my computer is a little bit slow right now.
Is it a little delayed?
Oh, something about trying to warn it again. Yeah, it's being. Oh, there we go. All right, we're back. Very heavy rainfall, and this is there's downtown right there. Devon Towers right there. A lot of lightning. Wow, but very heavy rainfall also moving through here. So I would say more than likely we're going to be seeing this moving in with the little spindles of the rainfall that are kind of moving over right now on the radar. I'm going to get the radar pulled up real quickly. There we go. So this we're starting to see some of the heavier rain moving into downtown OKC again in Valley Brook, but that biggest threat right there is going to be that bow echo that's moving over Bridge Creek and giving some heavy rain to Mustang. I want to look really quick to see if we're maybe seeing any drops in correlation coefficient that could give us. That doesn't look too friendly right there. It's got a little. What is it? What is it?
Yeah,
What is it? What do they call it? The
a
eagle?
little
Is
a
that
little
what it is?
notch of screaming eagle.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
That
yeah,
right
there's
there.
definitely a little notch there for sure. That's absolutely something that we need to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
That could be our next tornado warning in the same spot that we saw earlier, or in the same spot of the storm that we saw it warned earlier. So that could absolutely be another tornado warning that's coming our way.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. A lot of our mapping meteorologists are also saying the same thing. In one of our chats, they're saying that they're probably going to be watching more than likely, seeing this possibly getting tornado warned yet again. This is right over Mustang. This is what we're watching very, very closely. This is definitely our number one priority, moving to an extremely populated area just south of Oklahoma City. Again, Valley Brook, Moore. That is probably your next target for this couplet right here as it does move through. Let's see what this next frame looks like for our velocity very soon. But so far, no new severe thunderstorm warning yet. I imagine they're probably debating on if they're going to put up or they're going to extend out the severe thunderstorm warning or make it a tornado warning pretty quickly. Also, do want to note flash flood warning in effect for Oklahoma City, Moore, Norman, Newcastle, just south of Edmond. So it's not counting the northern suburbs of Oklahoma City. Noble, you're out of it as well, but parts of Moore, Norman, the heaviest populated areas, are going to be seeing this flash flood warning in these heaviest populated areas. You know, we're obviously more concrete, less dirt, less places for the rain to go. It looks like it's kind of falling into itself a little bit from that last frame. You can kind of see
Yeah,
that
it's getting
notch.
messy, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. I mean, that's all. It's good. That's great that it gets messy because the less organized it is, the lesser chance of getting a tornado warning put down. And I guarantee that was a good lightning strike there, for me at least. But you know, tornado warning in an extremely populated area is definitely an action that any weather center does not take lightly. Mustang, you are in the thick of it right now. You are seeing very heavy rainfall, more likely some very strong winds. I'd definitely be saying get into that center part of your house as of this moment. You've got a basement, definitely a place to be there for sure. You're warned for nickel-sized hail, so if you're getting hail, once you get into that safe space, let us know if you're hearing any hail on your rooftop or anything like that. Please don't go outside in this. If you're getting any howling winds, let us know. Again, once you're into that safe space, as of right now. Yeah, it
In the
looks like
shelter.
that.
Elizabeth gave us
Yes,
an update in the shelter. Thank you. Yeah, we're glad that you're in the
good, good.
shelter. Make sure that you may have to stay there a little bit longer than you would normally stay there because of just the slow movement of these storms, but you're doing the right thing. So we're glad that you're watching the weather and that you're taking these seriously, because some strong wind, that is going to be the biggest concern right now. That 80-mile-per-hour wind is no joke at all, and the National Weather Service is saying potentially up to 80-mile-per-hour wind here.
Yeah, I mean, I've personally experienced winds like that in the past year. Back at my parents' place, they had two trees knock over and a sheet metal roof ripped off of a cattle barn that my dad had made.
Wow.
And that was, granted, it was a little different situation. It was a microburst that we dealt with, but it was also registered 80 mile an hour winds. So, trees absolutely can be toppled in 80 mile an hour winds.
Mhm.
Roofs can be torn off. Actually, they just warned it. Tornado warning is in effect for Oklahoma City and more, Valley Brook, Midwest City, Bethany. Probably going to hear my tornado. There it is,
There
if
it
you can hear it.
goes. Wow.
Yep. That is. It's only goes off for tornado warning, so I'm probably gonna have to shut that off pretty soon. You take over real quick. I'm gonna get this turned off real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's give some information on this tornado warning. It's in effect until 9:45 this evening. So we've got about another hour, 50 minutes on this. The storm is moving slow, as we've been talking about all night long, about 20 miles an hour directly to the east. And one thing that we saw from storms earlier is that whenever they have a northward motion, then we're not as worried about that high wind, that hail, that tornado threat. But the second they take that eastward motion, that's whenever we absolutely see that tornado threat increase. And so that's what's happening right now. This warning is going straight east through central, a southern portion of Oklahoma City, Mustang, Moore, Midwest City, and Valley Brook, all areas that have been talked about a lot tonight for not only strong wind, but also for that tornado potential. And so what we could see here is we could see that tornado warning as it's issued until about 9:45. We could see that maybe expire, and then we see another warning, and then it expires, and then we see another warning. This is what we call a pulsating storm, where every now and then we get these notches and these long lines of storms, and that's going to be what produces that potential tornado.
Yeah,
Elizabeth is
Joey.
giving us a live update. It's loud here for sure. We hear hail and thunder now. Yeah, I'm sure it's staying probably pretty live or pretty loud. This evening. We're glad that you're keeping an eye on the storms. Joey said,
Joey just shared a photo of what it looks like, a mean looking cloud. I can show it. I'm just going to take me a second to really get it pulled up. I can actually do it a little bit quicker.
the wind is and hail, or the wind and rain are crazy in this view. Look at that view on the bottom right side of your screen. You can see the wind blowing across the highway, or the rain blowing across the highway. Holy moly. I feel for anyone who's out on the roads right now. I'm sure their visibility is very, very low. And then you can also see just how much rain is coming down at the moment. I mean, yeah, that's absolutely going to cause some flooding.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm going to share this photo that we've got from one of our mapping Mets. He is sharing this photo. This was just outside of Oklahoma City. Joey, thank you for sitting in this photo. I know you're watching. Take a look at that mean-looking cloud. This was taken by one of our mapping Mets, Joey. He got a good picture of this. Again, all of our mapping Mets, a lot of them are currently on mapping all of these storms right now. They're doing everything they can. One of our other meteorologists, actually our head meteorologist, John Choquette, he says he's getting hail at his house right now. Sirens have been activated in Norman. A lot of lightning. Looks like, yeah, John is saying that there's around his area, they're getting a couple pea-sized hail, so not severe. But right now he is getting some of those storms moving through with some of that hail. Just anybody that's joining in, tornado warning has been activated for most of downtown Oklahoma City, Mustang, Valley Brook, Midwest City, and more. It is just on the north side of Norman. So more than likely not including the University of Oklahoma, but they are severe. They are tornado warning this thunderstorm for the possibility of having a tornado. I do want to note there is no tornado confirmed so far. We're currently just watching this, the possibility of it being a tornado very soon. I want to readjust my camera real quick to see if I can get a Valley Brook cam. I think we can get a better view.
Yeah, and if you are watching from Norman, I am getting alerts that the campus has issued or maybe has sent out an alert that there's a tornado warning in the area. But just to note that the campus itself is not under a tornado warning. However, sheltering, or at least knowing where your shelter is not a bad idea. You may go ahead and just go ahead and be prepared to get in your safe place. You've got some high wind to the north of you. You got that potential tornado to the north of you as well. But the campus itself, as Martin said earlier, is not under a tornado warning, even though you may be getting alerts about a tornado warning in the area. I'm getting some notifications right now that that's what they're hearing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it does include parts of Cleveland County and Oklahoma County, which is why my alarm also went off, because we're here in Oklahoma County, even though I'm technically not in the warned area as well. They've actually, I believe they extended. No, that's just the old severe thunderstorm warning. But still watching it closely. It's moving its way to Valley Brook. I've expanded this camera right here. Biggest thing I want to watch out for is power flashes, because as a tornado warning is going on, with it being dark and also this being embedded, it's going to be very difficult to actually see if there is a tornado, but very indicative of what we call power flashes. Now, power flashes are not lightning. Lightning lights up the entire sky. Power flashes are very isolated. You will see a little ball of light in one area of the horizon. Not this, we're seeing a lot of lightning right now. This is it's lightning. You get these in your everyday thunderstorms. If the power flashes, you will see a small ball on the horizon. That is that power flash we're looking for. That is tornadic winds taking down transformers, ripping up power poles, power lines. Those are what we're really watching for right now.
Yeah, and I still see everyone on the west side of the city. I mean, they're just kind of hanging out. Some of them sheltering under overpasses right now. We still have that very, very heavy rain. And, heavy rain is one thing, but partnered with this wind really tells me that the visibility is very, very low on roadways. So even if you're not in the tornado warning, you're probably going to have low visibility and flood potential on the roadways. So don't go out in this right now. Don't go out in this. I mean, you can see, if you look at my camera on the bottom of the screen, you can see the wind blowing this rain across the roadway. And then once people go into the intersection, you see how much water they're splashing up. And we're not even through most of it in these areas yet. We've got still a lot more rain to come. So we are not done with this at all. We probably have at least another 30 minutes on this. Holy moly.
Looking for just getting very, very heavy rain. Again, we're already under a flash flood warning in this area. So just the possibility of more of that rain causing more and more problems will be very evident today. So we're just going to be watching out for that very closely with the possibility of flash flooding mixed in with what we're already watching for, these severe thunderstorms with hail, wind, and tornadoes. To back this up a little bit more, I like this camera right here. It's got a good wide view so far that I'm seeing. This one is just to the to the east of Valley Brook. So this technically is ahead of the frontal edge, the leading edge of this storm. I'm really kind of just, basically watching out for possibility of power flashes, possibly seeing a glimpse of maybe a spin up or something like that, a definitive wall cloud in this lightning. But as of right now, not seeing anything yet. Still looking at, I'm going to give kind of a verbal update on the tornado warning that we're seeing right now. Again, this is including Forest Park, downtown Oklahoma City, Midwest City, Valley Brook, Mustang. Granted, Mustang is already on the other side of where the tornado would be, so more than likely, the next few minutes, Mustang will be clearing out and being dropped underneath out of that tornado warning. But this is actually covering 5 counties. It's northeastern Grady, southwestern Oklahoma, northwestern Cleveland, southeastern Canadian, and northwestern McLean County until 9:45, so the next 40 minutes. This was warned for the cell that we're watching right now. Severe thunderstorm warning. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located over southwestern Oklahoma City. They're saying radar indicated rotation. Impact is flying debris, will be dangerous. Even without the tornado, we could still be seeing some of these stronger winds. They were doing a update, not necessarily a warning, but an update on this severe thunderstorm where they're saying in this leading edge of the cell, which I'll show you really quickly, right here, this bow direction, more. You're going to be seeing this very soon. Actually, could you pull up a camera for more and see if you can maybe see the westward so we can possibly see.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go down to more. Let's go to the west. We're not seeing too much of the skyline here. We'll go to North
We have a couple of
Norman.
our Mets saying power flashes in some parts of
Yeah, and
Oklahoma City.
let's talk about closer to the
That could
airport.
also be wind.
Yeah, we've got a strong couplet towards the airport. Some of our meteorologists talking about this as well. So, Martin, if we bring up the airport real quick or bring up the radar close to the airport, it looks like we've got a really decent couplet here. And that's obviously what they're watching for this tornado warning. This is going to go straight east into Valley Brook. So, Valley Brook, if you are not in your storm shelter, absolutely get there right now because it does look like we've got a really good potential to have a tornado right now. We've got a nice notch in this line of storms. And then we've got a strong couplet that we could see potential for a tornado as well. So that's something to keep an eye on, not only the strong wind, but also the potential for tornado. Let's see.
I am trying to find. Is it TOKC? That's Tinker, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a great
TLX.
radar to use. Holy moly.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of action going on right now. Seeing if I can find a better view. It's too close to the radar right now. I want to go back to our KTLX real quick. We're going to go over to our velocity as well so we can get a better view of that. Yeah, there's a good little, it's a lot of interference going on as well. You can see the reds and the greens. There's that couplet right there. So if there would be a tornado, there would be one right there. Let me see if there's any drop in the correlation. A little bit suspicious, that one right there, possibly, but I think that's probably going to be radar interference if I had to guess anything. But again, we'll be watching this this little drop here in correlation coefficient because that is right. That is pixel on pixel for where there would be a tornado would be right there heading in toward Valley Brook. So I'm
Yeah,
going to
for sure.
I'm going to readjust my camera yet again, see if I can get something better. This is to the west of Valley. This is the east of Valley Brook. So let's see, there's this camera. Wait, that's
I feel
northwest.
for all of these people on the roads right now, I mean, you can see it's just frame after frame, camera after camera. People are pulled over on the side of the roads because it's very, very difficult to travel right now. We've got obviously a ton of lightning, but also that potential tornado as well. We're hearing from our meteorologists that are scattered throughout the entire time, that are scattered throughout all of Oklahoma City. And they're saying that they're seeing some potential debris, very potential there. And then very, very strong wind. They're also reporting power flashes south of 240. So that could confirm our tornado on the ground. Again, we're saying potential right now.
It looks like it's right along. If the couplet is anywhere, it's right along 240, which honestly I would hate for it to be there. I'm watching this very closely. Watch the skyline here. This is something I'm watching very closely. Seeing the very darker clouds here You cannot see anything when it comes to the horizon. There's no tornado, it looks, as of right now. So, at least as of this moment, we're not seeing any tornado on the ground, but it is due for concern. I think that was something hitting my door. One of our Mets was saying that there was looks like the 700 feet above the ground, they're seeing a wind speed of 88 miles an hour. Now, that does not mean we are seeing 88 miles an hour wind speeds. We're not seeing DeLorean speeds on the ground. We are seeing this roughly 1,000 feet above the ground. So could be 80, could be 70, could be 65. But for right now, we are still seeing several people. The SRV, what is that? I don't know what that acronym means. John was saying something about SRV clocking 90.
Yeah, storm relative velocity
Oh, right,
clocking
yeah.
clocking
I was,
90.
I was
So
thinking
that's going to
something
be
different.
your storm relative winds, and that's okay. There's a lot going on, right? So that's going to be
Hmm.
your storm relative winds, and we're seeing some really, really strong winds. So we told you that it's possible to see 80-mile-per-hour winds before, and we're now saying it's possible to see 90. It's possible. We're seeing some reports of tornado touching down, heading to more. That's not confirmed. That's not confirmed. So, um, but it's I mean, from what I see on the radar, it's possible.
Hmm.
And it would be
Yeah, I mean,
Northmore, everyone. That would be Northmore, closer to Valley Brook.
yes, Valley Brook. Again, looking at the radar, I'm going to pull this up again really quickly. So we're going to shift really into just full tornado tracking mode at this point. So I have got just a bit of a breakdown of what I'm seeing here. This is your reflectivity on the top left. This is our storm. This is our base velocity, so we can see our wind speeds on the top right. Correlation coefficient, more or less your debris tracker. And then on the bottom right is just your storm relative velocity. Now, the one thing I do want to note along this leading edge here, we're seeing drops in correlation coefficient. This is not tornadic debris. This is debris just being lofted in the air by the leading edge of this storm. That is the one thing that we can definitely tell for sure. There's things being lifted off the ground by the strong winds and kind of just tossed in the air. Could be, leaves and things like that, sticks, just small items could be being thrown, and it can include things up that are larger. Now, still only tornado warned. We're not seeing anything confirmed as of yet. So we've had reports so far of the possibility of a tornado touching down, but we have not gotten that confirmed yet. I do want to reiterate, not confirmed as of yet.
I'm going to share a different camera
Big lightning
here
strike.
and show you guys just how much this camera is wobbling. Oh my goodness.
Power, it looks like tons of power flashes at 240 and 35. So I'm going to adjust my camera there as well. Oh, wow. Actually, yeah, I'm going to pull this one up real quick. You could take a look at this extremely strong winds, very, very heavy rain. This is the camera that I was looking at that one of our mapping mates was saying he was seeing power flashes. So we're going to be watching this one very closely as well. I'm going to filter back to our two box so you can see a better angle of the storm currently moving its way into Valley Brook while we're watching this. But again, very, very strong winds. Shots of 35 look like a hurricane. Yeah, that's what our leading map meteorologist is saying. It looks like a hurricane out there. Yeah, I would buy it. Yeah, it looks a very, very intense winds. Where's your camera at?
This is in Valley Brook, and you can see, or in Moore rather, so it's going to be south of Valley Brook, and you can see, look how the camera is just bouncing up and down, up and down. I mean, that's all thanks to the wind, and oftentimes you would be able to see these semis, you would be able to see these cars, but because of the heavy rain and the strong wind right now, you can't. This is also where right now we are expecting if there was a tornado, this tornado would be here. So I'm just kind of wondering what these cars are going through right now in terms of strong winds. I'm actually surprised that we're still seeing quite a few people moving on the roads, although it does look like in some places we're completely stopped because of this semi. So I'm not quite sure why they're stopped. Actually, let me just go ahead and see if we can get a different view. That one is out. This one is working, but again, very, very low visibility. So if we were to see a tornado, this would be where we see it, or we can even check other places. Heavy, heavy rain. Holy moly. Go back down to this more where they are completely stopped. So I'm not quite sure why. I don't know if something's in the road over here or if the semis just truly cannot see what's in front of them. So they have decided to stop. There may also be a potential flooding situation over here. So we're not quite sure exactly why they decided to stop, but obviously it's causing this major traffic jam, which honestly may be the safest for some. I don't know exactly what the reason for stopping is, but they've got to ride out the storm now. I mean, there's no place for them to go, but that's tough. I know I'm feeling for everyone that's on the roads right now. West Oklahoma City, Yukon areas. So West Oklahoma City, you guys are still getting that very, very heavy rain, extremely strong wind as well. This morning in the western side of Oklahoma City and the eastern side of Yukon is still warned for 70-mile-per-hour wind speeds. However, it depends on what side of Yukon that you're on. If you're starting to see that wind and the rain let up a little bit, you are severe clear. On the very far east side of Yukon, you may still be on the very edge of that severe thunderstorm warning. Here's the good news about Yukon now. El Reno, Kingfisher, you guys will be severe clear for the rest of the night. The front has passed through. So once you start to see that rain start to let up a little bit, then that front has officially passed through and you're severe clear, but you have to get through this stuff first, right? I'm going to go through and take a look at some other cameras.
While you do that, I'm going to give a radar update real quick. We have just gotten a new severe thunderstorm warning for all of Oklahoma City. This does include right now nickel-sized hail, and then also gusts up to 70 miles an hour. So this does have a considerable tag on it. This does encompass all of Oklahoma City, stretching all the way down almost to Purcell, and including all the way up to parts of Edmond and Luther. So this pretty much covers all of the Oklahoma City metro as of right now, and it is warned for those 70-mile-an-hour winds. Still looking at the tornado warning. Most recent radar updates, starting to see, luckily, what could be the beginning of its collapse. We kind of go back, and I really want to show you kind of how it evolved. Now, we can see right here, there's that definitive bow echo. This is when we were super concerned about this thing spinning up and also bringing in, 80, 90-mile-an-hour winds with this storm. But it kind of caught up to all this kind of this mess ahead of it. And when it does that, it kind of causes it to meld in with the rest of the storm. And this does cause it to kind of lose its intensity a little bit. You can see it's getting a little bit garbled, and it is also getting very, very close to our radar, so it's going to be kind of difficult to see. We can switch to the Tinker Air Force Base radar. Theirs is a bit less powerful than the KTLX, which is the National Weather Center's radar. So you can still see, there it is right there, good little bow out there. And this is as close as it can get to the ground. Now, granted, this is 300, 400 feet above the ground, moving at base velocity, seeing winds of about 50 knots or so, 50, 55 knots. So that roughly translates to about 60 miles an hour. This is about 200 feet above the ground. So more than likely, these are pretty much surface winds. Yeah, seeing 45, 50 knots, which does translate to closely 52.5 knots, a little cherry picking right there. We could see those winds very, very strong, 50 knots, which roughly translates to about 60 miles an hour with this leading edge right here. Behind it, you're also still seeing wayward winds upwards to 45 knots, which is also very, very strong. I'm kind of looking at our chat to see very obvious where to map this wind. Yeah, and it's going to be very easy to see how this map is going to be going. So watching this still pretty closely, you can still see the definitive little, well, it's even getting close to, and this is difficult to really read. The reflectivity that they've got at the Tinker is not as good, but everything else appears to be doing just fine. Their base velocity looks pretty good. So again, this is that inflow right here, that bow that we've been watching very closely. And again, if we pull up some of our cameras that me and Taylor's got pulled up, you can see very strong winds. That wind the wind blowing the rain across. I believe this is 35, I think. I'm trying to read that sign that says there. It looks like it's
The
240, I
sign?
believe. Yeah, the one
Oh
that's being
boy.
shook around by the winds.
Yeah, you can see this camera going up and down, right? We've got a police car over here. I did want to note that we've got some potential power flashes, maybe power outages. I just looked at our power outage map, and it does look like we are at about 1,500 out in the metro, which isn't too much. Actually, that's less than I expected. So we'll keep an update on that, but 1,500. Holy, I mean, look how much water is on the roadways. People are splashing around. That's got to be so difficult to see. I'm not quite sure what this police car is doing, but they may actually start, blocking off some of those roads saying, don't drive over here because there's too much water. Obviously, the highways are going to be better than the side roads, but those side roads have a lot of standing water on them right now. Let's check out some of these
Brand
other
new tornado
cameras.
warning has been
Okay.
issued. This is now including parts of eastern Oklahoma City, Midwest City, Valley Brook, Spencer, Choctaw, Hara, Jones, Luther, and McLeod. So this is the new tornado warning. My alarm just went off. That's how I knew. It's currently said it's located almost over Tinker Air Force Base, moving northeast at 30 miles an hour. This is going to be up and for the next 38 minutes. They're probably going to conglomerate this in with the old tornado warning that was already issued. It's kind of made a northward turn, hinting at this new angle that they've got with this tornado warning here. So we kind of back it up. We can see it's almost an east to west, and now we're moving northeast. So let's see what they're saying right now. Still no confirmed tornado at this point. But they are saying that radar indicated rotation, very, very evident there. Still warning for flying debris that could be damaged. Mobile homes could be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roof, windows, and vehicles will occur. This is from the National Weather Service, warning about the possibility of what could happen in this storm. So back to the base velocity, storm relative velocity. Do you want to pull that up real quick? So again, a lot of change, a lot of rotation in with this. You can see it's a little bit messy because it's so close to the radar. We're only seeing like 400 feet above the ground, which at that point you might even almost be undercutting the clouds. So moving up a little bit in some of those higher angles, it's a little bit more messy. Yeah, not as good, but let's go back to the camera that you've got. And I'm going to try to get a little situated on the radar real quick.
Yeah, this camera is very, very impressive, showing just still some ongoing lightning, even though the worst of this has now passed this camera. So we are in the Newcastle area. We are looking at, 1 second. I'll show you exactly where we're at. Oh, not that. All right. Let's go to
Oh
map.
wow. Oh wow. Okay. You got to see this camera. Look at this.
Holy moly. There's rain.
Wow.
Oh my
Yeah, that's
gosh.
rain. I don't want to say hailstones, but it's difficult to see anything in this. Regardless of what's falling down. Rain is heavy. Look at
Yeah.
that. Oh my goodness.
If there's going to be hail, it's going to be very small hail with
Mm,
this. I wouldn't expect a ton of hail from this, but it's very, very possible that we could see a little bit of
yeah.
hail with this. But that is a lot of rain. Oh my goodness. We
Can
don't
barely tell
often
what's
get to
behind you.
pick this up on traffic cameras. That is a lot of rain.
Yeah. That
And it looks like
is
whatever car is in the background of this, I mean, it's even
very
hard,
slow.
yeah, to tell what's going on behind all this rain. It looks like they're moving very, very slowly.
Looks like one of our mapping nets is actually going to be right in the. Oh, one of our software developers is near the middle of this little burst that's going through right now. I don't know why my. What is your Do you have your GI analyst pulled up? Is there something? Because yours has always looked a little bit more different than mine.
Earth or analyst?
Analyst. I'm going to try
Analyst?
to check to see if there's a way that I
Yeah,
can
here
change up.
I can share mine. 1 second. Maybe. It says that it's shared. There it is. Okay, so here is my GR analyst. What this shows you guys is in this upper left-hand corner. This shows that we have, I mean, this is reflectivity. Upper right-hand corner is storm relative velocity, which basically shows the wind speeds and wind strength. Down here, you don't need to look at this too much. This is really just for us. It shows, this is called KDP. It either shows extremely heavy rain or it can be an indication of hail. And then in the bottom right-hand corner, we have correlation coefficient, which also can show extremely heavy rain, potential debris, or large hail. In this situation, we'd probably be looking for potential debris picking up or being picked up from the strong winds. It's really, really hard to see exactly what's going on because we are so close to the radar right here. So if we switch over to our terminal radar, we don't always get the best views from this, but it could show some different views, and it does. It absolutely shows that bulge from the strong winds that is moving to the northeast into now the eastern side of Oklahoma City, the southeastern side, so we're closer to the Midwest city areas. Spencer, Choctaw, Jones, Hara, all in the path of this tornado warning. I don't love this view because we don't get the other products from terminal radar. However, we can switch back and you can see that it's just a little messy over here because we're so close to the radar. You can see that we're still seeing some pockets of very, very heavy rain that's now moving into Midwest City just across the highway there. And we can probably, or we may already have, yes, yeah, we're already watching one of those highway cameras right now, just seeing, not just, I mean, we are seeing some very strong winds blow this rain across the roads, and then we're still seeing people use their hazards because they are moving so slow out there. It looks like we are getting, let's see, some of these other cameras. Yeah, just some really slow movement. They haven't gotten all of the rain quite yet, but there is some heavy wind and some very, very heavy rain moving in here. I hope these people have a very short trip home because they're about to get rocked with this high wind.
See if I can
Absolutely
change the
rocked.
view of this.
Woohoo.
Northwest. It looks like this. Looks like I think they lost power in some of these. Wow. Yeah, that is very intense.
I would not be surprised if this is an area that they lost power. Wow, holy moly. You don't often get to see raindrops on a traffic camera. They're just not that high tech. And so to be able to see those raindrops just tells you how many of those there are. I mean, holy moly.
I really wish the terminal radar had correlation coefficient. I feel like it would give us some very good insight. Because right now the correlation coefficient for this is just not that good because it's way, way, way too close to the radar.
We're getting some reports that the sirens are going off in Oklahoma City again. So we appreciate that report. That's probably because of the tornado warning that's ongoing in the southeastern side of the metro, but it's also still issued for downtown Oklahoma City. So downtown Oklahoma City is still inside that tornado warning. And then the southeastern side of the metro into Midwest City also included in the tornado warning, which is why they're probably turning the sirens on again just to warn people. I know it's moving slow, but stay in your safe place. This is now moving to the northeast at 30 miles an hour. And the biggest factor, the biggest hazard here is going to be that tornado and strong wind. Very, very low chance for large hail. And it's probably pretty loud. I mean, we are outside of the warning and we are still hearing that thunder. It's been an hour, over an hour and a half that we've been hearing that thunder, and we are not getting the worst of it. We're probably out of the worst of it.
I do want to
can't even
note,
imagine what they're dealing with down there.
I'm pulling up base velocity here because I'm wanting to show these two little mini bulges in this bow echo we've been watching for a little bit. This is, again, on our terminal radar, so it is a little bit closer to the ground. These are winds roughly 700 feet above the ground, so above the radar site. Seeing right now, I'm registering wind gusts of 62.2 knots, which translates to just over 70 miles an hour. So very, very strong winds are occurring in this storm. That doesn't necessarily mean we're having 70-mile-an-hour winds on the surface, but that does that could have 70-mile-an-hour winds at the surface. Theoretically, they could even be more intense at the surface. But that's about as good as we're going to get when it comes to radar confirmation. Is what we're seeing, cherry picking basically winds currently right now.
And Martin, I want to give you an update on a report from the National Weather Service. They're saying that they got 80-mile-per-hour winds have been reported at Sooner Road and 29th Street. And this is from what they're saying. These damaging wind gusts will continue to move east across southern Oklahoma County and northern Cleveland County. So just to your point there, we're still seeing those strong winds. We're getting live reports of those strong winds as well. Let me go ahead and see if we can get anything from the Oklahoma Mesonet. They may have some information on how strong our winds are. Also, let's see what our strongest wind gusts have been.
I wonder if that was a Weather Underground report. So I am going to quickly pull up that. So while you're looking at, new tornado warning has just been issued. This includes Shawnee. So I'm going to divert to this real quick. New tornado warning has been activated. This is for this little area we were just talking about with very, very strong winds. Already seeing those winds have confirmed 80 miles an hour. And we're seeing 70 on some of the radar. 58.3, again, translating to roughly about 70-mile-an-hour winds once you convert from knots to miles per hour. This one right here has just been issued. Tornado warning going for until 10:15. Severe thunderstorm warning capable of producing a tornado located over Stella, suburb of Oklahoma City, and is moving into Pink, Bethel Acres, and the tornado warning does include Shawnee. So we are seeing Shawnee outside of Oklahoma City now starting to be included in this tornado warning here. And this is going to go again until 10:15, so about the next 42 minutes. The most recent update. This is right over the KTLX. So you might be able to get another view on the other side of the front. When it comes to reflectivity, yeah, it's still very messy. We're going to go back to that other radar over at Tinker real quick. Again, take a look at that. Still seeing extremely heavy rain. This is, I believe, over 35. I-40 and 240. So this is a very, very, very common intersection. Again, people going underneath the overpass, it's not advised to do that, especially if you get a tornado that basically acts as a wind tunnel and increase the speeds if you're getting the wind in a certain direction. So definitely not something super safe that you want to be doing is hiding underneath one of those tunnels.
Yeah, and I want to mention that this is just to the north of Lake Thunderbird. If you look at my screen, this wind is blowing the rain at like sideways. It's blowing it just from left to right of the screen. And then if we turn the opposite direction, you can see how much it's blowing on the roads itself, and people are doing that same thing that we were talking about, Martin, sheltering under the overpasses, which I'm sure they're getting really, really strong rain in there and strong winds in there as well. What they're probably doing is the visibility is probably so low that they can't see where they're going. So they're probably just sheltering under there because they don't know what else to do. I mean, that's a very scary situation to be in. Holy moly.
Yeah, look at that right there. I want to show really quickly. I was getting some more data. I'm seeing a wind gust of 64 knots. That is close to about 72, let's just say 75 miles an hour wind gust. Again, this is about 1,000 feet above the surface. That camera is getting absolutely, or hold on, my camera, I actually stopped sharing it. But look at this camera. It's just getting the full brunt of the wind right there. Oh my goodness, that's directly pointed into the wind. Um, but still watching for the 2 tornado. Actually, it's still 3 tornado warnings active, but one is definitely going to be expiring pretty soon. It's that one that's still in Oklahoma City and Valley Brook. Another one to the north. That is the one we were talking about before. That's got 24 minutes left remaining on it. And then we've got the new tornado warning that's just was released about 5 minutes ago. That is including Shawnee. Wow. Extremely strong winds, blowing rain over all of the roads here.
I mean, just
Sirens have
absolutely insane.
a lot of our mapping nets are saying their sirens have been going off like crazy today.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are saying that as the circulation passed over them, the winds got extremely intense. One of them said that he was riding it out, staring at his west-facing window. I'm not going to say any names, but you can see who it was, Taylor.
I saw that report. We had several, and I think this is a typical Oklahoma reaction. We had several reports or several people say that they sheltered in their bathroom, and then other people saying that they watched it from the window. So I think that's a pretty typical Oklahoma reaction.
Seems that way. It seems like it's that way. Again, you can see these bright reds here. I've got base velocity. If you're wanting to look at winds, base velocity is your friend. So we're wanting to really watch. You can still see that little couplet right there. It's a very weak couplet. It's almost at a 90-degree angle. You want to see that angle a much smaller angle. That is what you want to look at. Mom's in OKC. If she's in OKC proper, she's actually doing fine now. On the eastern edge of Oklahoma City, she might still be affected by some of those storms, especially those winds. If she's over toward Pink Bethel Acres, she's seeing some very, very strong winds. I'm going to think this is going to be a bit of a concern for Shawnee very soon because this very large bulge is still very defined according to our Tinker radar. And it is exuding 55 knot, which translates to about 65 mile an hour winds with this system. So that is probably going to be my biggest area of concern right now is going to be this bulb right here showing some very strong winds, and then also this couplet, which is not as impressive anymore, moving its way into McLeod eventually. So I'm going to kind of reel this back a little bit, and you can see what we're talking about with that very strong leading edge of these winds. You can see kind of how it almost looks like a mini explosion kind of pushing its way through and making its way into Shawnee. That's where you get those very, very strong winds in some of these events right here. So let's see. We still can't see much on our current radar. This storm is directly on top of it. Yeah, still very, very messy. We can see a little bit more. Thing is, this is very close to the ground, so we're getting very, very apparent. Let's see. Tornado warning extends to yes, it does extend to Shawnee. But overall, still watching this tornado warning. It is moving its way out of Oklahoma City, but is also moving its way into Shawnee, McLeod, Choctaw. You're seeing now these areas being affected by that tornado warning. Midwest City, you're probably going to be seeing your warning cut off very soon, probably within the next 10 to 15 minutes, if I had to guess. So it is moving its way out of Oklahoma City proper, but it's not over yet. We're still watching a lot of these storms. We're also seeing this very large severe thunderstorm warning. This is including for those 70 mile an hour winds and nickel-sized hail. So hail is not really a big concern right now. It's still that embedded tornado risk. And also your winds is the biggest concern for right now. So I'm going to pull up a new camera real quick just so we can get a better view of what we want to show. so I can show you guys some better camera footage. Thing is once we get out of Oklahoma City, the cameras kind of fall off a little bit. Yeah, there's not any cameras close to Shawnee, so this will be about what we'll have to make do with this right here. If we can get a southeast view, that might be pretty good. Wowee. That is moving away. So you're kind of seeing the wind is behind us with this camera right here. So the wind is blowing its way away from the camera at this point. Very slow moving cars across this. This is 240. So this is pretty much right on top of the leading edge right now. Seeing some very strong winds. You can see the wind being blown across the roads as people do pass by. And obviously the rain is very, very intense. I'm going to check some comments real quick to see if there's anything that we have missed. Springfield, Missouri. Not going to be seeing much in Springfield, Missouri as of right now. It's going to pull up the rest of us. Springfield, you are outside of the severe thunderstorm watch, but you got some warnings heading your way. You could see these warnings pull themselves together, but as this gets closer, we're going to lose a lot of that forcing and that daytime heating as time moves on. Temperatures are going to begin to fall, so more than likely you won't be seeing if you do see a severe threat, it's not going to be a long-lasting severe threat. Lake Hefner. I'm going to have to remember where Lake Hefner is. Give me 1 second because I've got to read. I have an idea where Lake Hefner is, but I do not want to make a fool of myself. So Lake Hefner, yeah, it's just outside of Oklahoma City. So Oklahoma City, Lake Hefner, you're probably going to be luckily getting on the other end of this. Oh yeah, northwest Oklahoma City, you're pretty much past that severe threat for right now. So Monica, you're good on that side of Oklahoma City. It's really just the east side of Oklahoma City is what you're really looking at directly. Trying to see updates from our Mets to see if there's anything that's going on right now. Nothing new as of yet. So again, still seeing some very strong winds on this camera right here. We're going to pull up the radar one more time so we can kind of get a better view of our more high-powered radar. This is moving its way into Dale, Bethel Acres, making its way towards Shawnee. It is saying some pretty good rotation. The MDA strength is 1.6. So that might be something to kind of pay attention to as we look in the higher elevations. Yeah, it's a little bit there. I wouldn't say anything like tornado on the ground right now by any means, but still something to definitely watch over. I'm going to move back to our terminal radar over at Tinker Air Force Base. Actually, I don't believe this is it the Will Rogers Airport? Is it the Will Rogers or is it Tinker Air Force Base, the TOKC?
Terminal is going to be down in just north of Norman, and then KTLX is going to be Twin Lakes radar.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that was your question or not.
My radar does not want to work anymore. That's nice.
Here, I can pull mine up. No worries. Here you go.
My TOKC doesn't want to work.
Yeah, and we did have a question about Dell City near Tinker Air Force Base. I don't know if that's what you were showing or not, but yeah, Dell City by Tinker, you guys still have some really, really strong winds coming into your area. You're going to see these strong winds probably for the next 20 or 30 minutes. You still have a severe thunderstorm warning going on, maybe even longer than that. Still for 70-mile-per-hour wind speeds and penny-sized hail, so very, very loud outside of your window. Make sure that you are in the innermost room of your house because it's going to be very, very loud, very strong wind, very, very strong wind. And I know it's warned for 70 miles an hour, but you could see wind up to 80 miles an hour. We've already gotten a report from these storms causing 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts, so some very, very extreme wind there.
Actually, I do want to note in the middle between these roads, you're seeing a lot of flooding already starting to appear. You can see a lot of those puddles really forming up here. So a lot of rain has fallen, but also what Taylor's going to show you is we actually just got an extension to our severe thunderstorm warning that includes, it goes out much further than I thought they were going to go. They have this all the way out to Wetumpka and Lamar, all the way out to where parts, and this is warned for 70-mile-an-hour winds still. So this is a pretty far extended severe thunderstorm warning right now into parts of central Oklahoma. This is just near Okemah, actually. So a good, hour away from Oklahoma City now.
Holy moly. Yeah, I mean, these warnings just keep on going. And I'm glad that they're extending it farther out now, because we have seen this storm pick up in storm motion. So it used to be going about 30 miles an hour. Now we're seeing this moving at 70 miles an hour. Holy moly. I mean, we've really seen this pick up from that slow moving storm that seemed like it took forever to get into Oklahoma City, moving at 20 miles an hour, 19 miles an hour at times. Now we are seeing the speed pick up very, very quickly, about 70 miles an hour. I'm not quite sure why. My first assumption would be that low-level jet really kicking in. That would be my assumption of why this thing is really picking up speed now, but I'm not quite sure for
You can
sure.
tell when you put this in motion, the low-level jet is just absolutely smashing into this whole system, and it is like picking up a ton of speed right now.
So for people that don't know what the low-level jet is, basically what that means is it takes this storm, and imagine the top of these storms as a sail on a ship. Once this low-level jet kicks in, it basically takes that ship and it pushes it fast. And that's also going to encourage these strong winds to stay strong for a while. So not only are we seeing that storm motion pick up, which is why they're warning for these storms a little bit farther out than what we were seeing earlier, but we're also going to continue to see this strong wind with these storms, which we can see from the bulge that you're seeing clear from this view right here that's moving into Shawnee right now. We've got a few questions in the chat. Hefner, clear, not worried about Hefner. Is Will Rogers World Airport safe? Yeah, you guys are safe now. You had some really strong wind earlier, but you guys are safe now. What about other? Trying to watch LFA. How does this affect it? So I assume, is that Lafayette? Is my assumption, not quite sure. You guys are severe clear right now. However, you could see storms tomorrow. So not something to be concerned about at the moment, but keep an eye on storms tomorrow. I appreciate you guys being live. Well, we appreciate you watching. Of course, we'll be live as storms go through the metro here. But these are really, really picking up speed now. This is very, very impressive storm that it seems all of a sudden to have some kick in it.
Some of our meteorologists are saying that some parts, some of them have rain gauges themselves. They've already had 2.5 inches of rain today.
Wow.
That is,
and I was saying 1 inch and a quarter.
Yeah, so 2.5, and to put that into perspective, this total for the year has been 6 inches. So we've gotten close to half of the rain in some parts of Oklahoma today. To answer your question, it's not a Tor-E. Have not had a confirmed tornado, so it's the reason why they haven't actually given us a tornado E yet. It's because we have not had a confirmed tornado as of right now. So it's still just a tornado warning. About Moore, daughter and grandkids are there. Luckily, Moore is out of it. No longer in Oklahoma City. They're probably getting still a little bit of rain, but the severe thunderstorm warning is still active in Moore, but it will eventually get clipped very soon. But the tornado warning is past Moore.
For all of those watching for hail this evening, we do have one storm that's warned for hail. That would be down near the Red River, and that's for golf ball size hail. So golf ball size hail down near the Red River, but all of these storms up here, these are going to be mainly for wind. If we see any hail with this, it's going to be pretty small. And then we can take a look at these storms that are right along the the Kansas and Missouri state line, and they are also warned for wind. Nothing like what we're seeing in the metro where we see 70, maybe 80 mile per hour wind speeds. These up here on the Kansas-Missouri state line are going to be 60 mile per hour wind speeds.
Yeah, still, regardless of where you are, you're getting a lot of rain, you're getting a lot of lightning, very loud. Kind of calmed down over here in Edmond, but I'm still hearing several rumbles of thunder in the distance.
Those without power in Oklahoma, Oklahoma City Metro, we've got about 1,700 without power here, maybe a little bit more than that if you go a bit outside of the metro. So honestly, I expected higher numbers of power outages. So
Mm.
OG&E is reporting about 2,400, so a little over 2,000 people without power here, and it really spans throughout a good portion of the city. A lot of these power outages are in Valley Brook, but a few over by Lake Overholser on the west side of the city closer to Yukon. I bet that we will see that number increase as we head into the late night hours at this point. It's almost 10 o'clock now, and we still have extremely strong winds from these storms that are moving through now the east side of the metro, now heading into Shawnee.
Yeah, and I mean, we were talking about how this thing is already booking it.
Mm-hmm.
This thing's already at Shawnee. Like this thing is moving at interstate speeds.
Moving so fast.
Yeah, very. I mean, we were talking about like, oh, it's they've extended this warning out all the way to Shawnee, and it's already here. So National Weather Center, they do make these warnings larger and smaller depending on the speed of the storm. Because initially with this storm, they were making pretty small boxes. Polygons were very small. Now they're making massive multi-county polygons, and for good reason, because they need to warn these people as quickly as possible because these storms are booking it right now.
For sure. I want to show you guys a video that we just got a few minutes ago from one of our meteorologists here at Hail Trade. Even the frog sheltering
Frog
from the
shot.
storm. Yep. Even the frog sheltering from the storm. But I show you that just to show how much ponding there is just in his backyard. In an area, you think the backyard, it's going to soak up a lot of that water. That's a good area for at least that soaking to happen. However, on the roadways, what's going to happen? That water's just going to stand there, right? The concrete is not going to soak that up. So you can just imagine if we're already seeing puddling and ponding in the backyard, what we're already seeing also on the roadways. So you can see that from my camera and the corner of the screen, but not only is that wind, potential tornado, all major hazards here. After this storm passes by, we are also seeing that that flooding be a major factor as well. I want to mention, we did mention earlier that we had an 80-mile-per-hour wind gust reported, and we can see that now on the map. This is at the Tinker Air Force Base, and that happened, about 30 minutes ago in this area. 30 minutes ago, 80-mile-per-hour wind speeds. I mean, that's insane, and that's very, very strong wind. I'm wondering what impacts that had. I'll keep an eye out for impacts as we go through the next few hours and we start to hear from people about exactly what happened here. I assume that we'll probably start to hear of things.
Yeah, I've just messaged a friend of mine who lives over in East Oklahoma City, so I'm going to see if he has anything to add on for today.
We have one
Again,
report in the chat about the Grand Casino being evacuated. Now, let me see if I can get a camera over at Grand Casino, because I would be hesitant to say that it's evacuated, maybe shelter in place, but I would not want anyone to go out in this right now, so I hope it's not being evacuated. Let me see if I can find a camera in this area. We may not have a very clear camera, but I hope that it's not being evacuated, because we absolutely do not want people out on the roads in this. We are seeing these storms go through Grand Casino right now, so I hope that they are staying put inside, but I don't see a good camera over here. We're looking at ODOT cameras right now, and ODOT cameras don't go all the way out to Shawnee. They stop right here in the southeastern side of the metro. But you can see on the corner of my screen that we have some people slowing down on the roadways over here. This is just south of West Watkins Lake into Dale, zooming out. Go a little bit farther to the east, right along I-40. We're seeing some major slowdowns over here as well. And then we've also got this alert saying drive with caution, severe weather and flood. Severe weather and flooding possible. Yeah, absolutely. We saw that on this camera, that it was absolutely flooding in this area. Ponding on roadways. What other questions do we have? Stay safe, y'all. Watching from Allen Park, Michigan. Am I okay if I'm in Spencer? Spencer, Oklahoma. So in Spencer, you still have storms coming through your area, so I would stay sheltered for now. However, these storms, they won't last long. They're moving so quickly. So once you start to see that rain let up, then you will be severe clear. We can actually point out the front. I'm going to share a different radar view here. And excuse me. Excuse me. I'm going to point out exactly where the front is so that you guys can tell if you're severe clear or not. Let me share my screen. I've got so many screens open right now. Here you go. Let me share my screen real quick. So what we're going to see here is exactly where the front is. You can see that we still have all of these warnings ongoing. This warning for Oklahoma City is about to expire. It expires at 10 o'clock, so we've got 4 more minutes on this. This warning that goes through Shawnee, Kanawha, Holdenville, Wetumpka, and Lamar, this goes until, let's see, moving to the east at 35 miles an hour. Warned for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And I can't find exactly when this ends.
Which
but
one?
I did the newest warning that goes through Shawnee, Maud, Holdenville.
Looks like 10:30. 33 more minutes.
Okay, 10:30. So you've got a little bit of time on this. I'm going to remove some of this and I'm going to show you where the front actually is. Yeah, let's do this because I know that a lot of people are wondering. Yeah, we had a lot of questions about Oklahoma City. Well, Oklahoma City is almost out of the warning, still included in the watch, but I do expect them to go ahead and cancel that or allow that to expire here pretty soon. Taking a look at the winds, you can see exactly where the front is. You've got north winds up in Stillwater. Those winds are switching over in Oklahoma City as well. There's the front right there. It goes just right through Tulsa along the Turner Turnpike, maybe just south of the Turner Turnpike, into Oklahoma City in the southeastern portion of the city. Even Norman is on the south side of the front and Oklahoma City is on the north side of the front. So if you're on the north side of the front, you're most likely going to be severe clear for the rest of the night. It's the south side of the front that we are still watching for storms ongoing in the area and then to come to other people in the area. Obviously not to Okemah, not to Holdenville yet, but you guys are going to have storms here pretty soon. Let's go ahead and take a look at the radar. Let's pop those warnings back on here as well. We are now officially also getting reports from those strong winds that came through Moore and Midwest City and Valley Brook. This report right here tells us that we have damaged power lines coming from the National Weather Service here. Power lines are down. And then out of Moore, we have downed trees. So we know that this wind absolutely has left in its path some, in the words of the National Weather Service, damaged power lines, downed trees. Now that same exact wind is coming through Shawnee, Johnson, McLeod, Dale. This bulge right here, this is your strong wind. And I'm actually kind of surprised that the National Weather Service hasn't warned down here a little bit more as well. Pink, Ottawa, Tribby, Oklahoma. This severe thunderstorm warning is for 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts, but as we've seen tonight, we could also see 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts with this as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Shawnee is seeing, the full brunt of it right now. They're seeing, they're right on top of that bow where you are going to see the strongest winds in this system right now. Any hail in mid Missouri from Manuel? Not seeing any right now. Stillwell, Oklahoma. We are
You
going to
guys have a
see,
while until you guys see storms in Stillwell. It'll be a little
yeah,
bit.
it's going to be a bit before you really see those storms in Stillwell. So you've got plenty of time, but you are going to be maybe seeing some of those storms eventually getting their way in. We're starting to see some storms actually moving through Tulsa as well. None of them are warned, but we are seeing a handful of them moving through. It's really northeast Oklahoma seeing more of those storms, but obviously our focus is still on this cell moving into Oklahoma City at the time. Let me take control of the radar real quick so I can show you guys what I am looking at real quick. There we go. Yeah, so this is what I'm taking a look at right now. This is what we're showing for as of this point in time. Just one tornado warning active, and the only is actually now things are a lot easier to kind of break down and understand. We've got one severe thunderstorm warning encapsulating all of this yellow area here, very large swath, multi-county warning. Meanwhile, we've also got this tornado warning that includes Shawnee and Johnson. McLeod, Dale, you're on the other side of it. Anything looking for the midweek? No, we're just going to give you a brief overview, Sean. This next couple of days after tomorrow, probably going to be very a little bit more low key. We're probably going to be seeing a bit of an uptick as we get into Thursday and Friday, but details are still very hazy. But for right now, we're still watching the base velocity. There's that little the eagle nose is what I've been told it usually is called. But the winds here very strong, 55 knots, which roughly is about 57 knots. That's close, but 65-mile-an-hour winds there. Kind of trying to pick some more. 65 knots just outside Shawnee. Inside Shawnee, 60 knots. This is about 1,000 feet in the air, so it might not be a perfect, one for one what we're seeing on the surface, but it does give us a good idea the strength of the winds that are occurring in Shawnee right now.
I do want to pivot over to what's going to happen over the next few days. Shawnee, make sure that you are still sheltering in your place. Yeah, I see some people on here. We just had a tornado warning. We appreciate your reports. I know that a lot of people have heard those tornado sirens tonight as well. Shawnee potentially still hearing the tornado sirens. So still shelter in place, Shawnee. We're going to ride out this tornado warning with you. But I don't want to neglect what's going to happen later on this next week and also tomorrow, because we have a chance for severe weather tomorrow as well. So let me go ahead and share my screen and tell you what's going to happen tomorrow. And we'll kind of get a look ahead now that things are out of the metro proper. We'll get a look ahead of what we're expecting as we head into the next few days. So let's start with the Storm Prediction Center. You can see that for day one, what is currently going on, we have a slight risk that still includes Tulsa, Springfield, Hannibal, Missouri, Peoria, Illinois, and a few areas up in the Midwest. Now, the area that we're watching for very, very closely right now is going to be in Oklahoma. I'm not too concerned about Tulsa at the moment. I know that you guys are at a slight risk, but I'm not too concerned about Tulsa at the moment. Tomorrow, we see those storms moving out to the east into the Midwest. We also have a chance for storms anywhere from Austin to Houston, Lufkin, and if we look at the hazards on that, you can see that it's an all hazards event, tornado risk in the Midwest, wind risk for everyone, and a potential hail risk as well, although that hail risk is going to be very, very low. As we head into Sunday, Easter Sunday, you have storms out on the East Coast, but a very low chance for actual severe weather. What about next week? Well, let's go ahead and let's pull up the GFS. I like this view of it right here. because we had questions about the middle of next week. Here's what happens. Tomorrow, we have a high pressure system building into the west. What that's going to do is that's going to help to kill our storms. High pressure system is a storm killer. So while we have had storms every single day this week, we are about to see that pattern change, and storm potential is going to come to a pause for a moment. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we are still feeling the impacts of this high pressure system. Here we are on Monday. Tuesday, high pressure system still sitting over the southeast. But what is there to come? What is lingering up in Canada? That is our next chance for severe weather. A cold front that comes through the northern portion of the U.S. by the middle to end of next week. We're talking about Wednesday and Thursday. That's your next chance for severe weather. Maybe a Midwest system for now, but things change as we head into the end of this coming week and next weekend, where we most likely will see better chances for storms down in the south as we've got this dip in the ridge, this dip in our jet stream. This is what we call a trough, opposite of a ridge, a trough, and then we have better chances for storms as we head into the late portion of next week and next weekend. Then we have another chance for storms down in the south. So if you're watching from Oklahoma, keep an eye on next weekend for our next chance for storms. And it may stay stormy for a while. So while we may be a little quiet this next week, what is this, the 5th, 6th through the 8th or 9th? Keep an eye on the 12th through the 16th. It looks like we will have a very, very active setup during this time that we could once again get into this pattern of just day after day after day of storms. So we have a pause in our storms for now after tonight. We have a chance for storms, pretty low chance tomorrow. Easter Sunday is quiet. Monday quiet, Tuesday quiet, Wednesday we really start to get more information on the activity that'll happen through the middle and end of next week. And then we stay active all the way through that next week, the second full week of April. So just kind of an outlook on what's going to happen as we head into the next round of active weather. Okay, we're kind of still in that first round right now. We're going to have another round as we head into the second full week of April. Going to pull up the radar once again. Martin, this is your screen. So that anyone in Shawnee, we still have an ongoing tornado warning, active tornado warning. We want to make sure that you guys are aware of this.
Yeah, it looks a little less impressive now. You can see not really a huge hook. Normally you want to see a bit of a sharper angle with this. More flat is what we're seeing right now moving over Shawnee. My biggest concern is still absolutely going to be our winds. We're seeing some very strong winds being pushed near Earlsboro. We're seeing consistent wind speeds of 58 to 65 knots here. That roughly translates to 65 to 70 mile an hour winds, possibly even gusts up to 75, 80. We have already had reports, confirmed reports of 80 mile an hour winds. And it's just that little bubble, this bow that we've been seeing persisting for a good while now on this radar since we've left the direct vicinity of it. It actually looks like it is trying to push forward a little bit. We call it a kink. Kind of moving its way up ahead of the main front. You can see again that little bulge right there that's kind of made its way over the main bulge. And those areas right there are very, very isolated areas of extremely strong winds that you could be seeing. It's essentially using both the power of the storm and also that initial push that it's pushing ahead of the front to produce even stronger winds, which I'm registering here. Again, 64 knots as of right now is the highest we're seeing as of this point. And 64 knots translates to roughly 75 mile an hour wind gusts. This is exiting the tornado warning. Looks like the warning for northeastern Cleveland County has been canceled, but it still remains in effect for central Lincoln and northwestern Pottawatomie counties. So it still is in effect. They're not canceling it just yet, but they're going to have to make a decision to either let this thing cancel out or issue a new warning, because that what would be the center of rotation, which would be right about there, if that's about to exit the tornado warning. So they're no National Weather Service in Norman's going to have to make a decision on if they're going to be issuing a new warning or if they're going to let this one die out. I'm going to bet my money they're probably going to be letting this thing just ride out, and eventually they won't issue a new one. But they probably will be issuing a new severe thunderstorm warning to include Okima and Walitka. They actually did just cut this down significantly. So this is a very small tornado warning now, including just Johnson. Shawnee is no longer in that tornado warning, but you are still seeing some pretty impressive winds in Shawnee as of right now. So right now, tornado warning almost might be canceled out. One severe thunderstorm warning in Oklahoma. It's out of the metro. You know, lot happened today already with just this one little cell, Taylor. It's like I believe you said it earlier. All it takes is one.
Yeah, Derek always says all the time, all it takes is one, because if that one cell hits in just the right place, it impacts a lot of people. And that's exactly what we saw tonight. This storm starting out in western Oklahoma near Hinton, moving all the way up the highway and now into Oklahoma City, then past Oklahoma City into Shawnee on the east side of the metro. Tornado warned for a good portion of that time, which means hours, 3-4 hours. Brand new tornado warning just popped on the screen. This is for a northeastern movement just outside of Shawnee into Prague, south of Boley and just west of Cromwell, including Johnson.
Yeah, this is
Looks like this
a
is going
new.
until
Oh yeah,
10:30.
it's a new cycling. And you notice that bulge has kind of wrapped around a little bit more. And usually, when you get these bow echoes to wrap around a little bit more, essentially the underside of the bow kind of catches up and moves around the rest of the storm. That's how you get that kink right around this direction, which would be just to the north of I-40, just near Prague. So that area is a one for concern for sure. Models are trying to output a little bit of hail. Let's see if there's a CC drop in there. No, doesn't look like much of nothing super concerning on hail as of right now, but luckily, still nothing has been confirmed all day in at least the metro and onward. Is in Grace Lake. Is if that's Grace Lake, Illinois? No, not going to be seeing anything in Grace Lake, Illinois today. Because I looked up Grace Lake and all I could find was Grace Lake, Illinois. But really, the biggest note for concern is going to be Oklahoma, and also kind of giving the bird's eye view for everything. If you're really out toward parts of the Midwest, which was also an area for concern, mainly along that warm front, which, dew points are still in the 60s. Temperatures are in the 70s and 60s as well, so very humid up there. You could get some reinitiation of some thunderstorms up here right along the warm front. But initiation is just not usually your storm. Warm fronts don't necessarily have the forcing necessary to start up a lot of those thunderstorms. It's really, you're looking in that warm sector again in like this area right here, but we haven't been looking at a lot of forcing in the large scale environment today. It's really just been the cold front that has been giving us most of the forcing. So there could be some storms moving here, but the biggest concern for a lot of these are going to be flash flooding because they're not wanting to move. The warm fronts being almost what we call a quasi-stationary, meaning it kind of moves, but not really. It's moving very slowly. And when you get those quasi-stationary fronts, you can get some very heavy rain for a long time. And that can pose a big issue. Just now, confirmed tornado over near Prague. So let me get back to GR Analyst real quick because we actually just got this upgraded from a tornado warning to a confirmed tornado near Little, Oklahoma. It's moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. Confirmed tornado. It's radar indicated, so I'm imagining they saw a CC drop. I'm not seeing a CC drop. It was a last frame, possibly. Trying to find exactly where they saw it. Storm relative.
Yeah, well, and with these storms, right, like it can be frame by frame. It can change so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe a little one.
It could be a very quick one. I mean, there's some weird CC drops here, which could have caused that confirmed tornado warning because the very next frame they did make that the confirmed tornado. Radar confirmed tornado in Little, Oklahoma, moving northeast at 35 miles an hour. They are saying to protect yourself from flying debris. This tornado warning keeps into effect until 10:30, so the next 15 minutes. This storm is moving at 35 miles an hour, so it's not moving as fast as it was before. We had this storm moving at close to 70 miles an hour at one point, so it has lost a little bit of its speed. But again, this was near Little Prague. You're included in this tornado warning as well. Parts of not near Payton, Bowley, you're just ahead of this confirmed tornado warning. You're actually not even severe thunderstorm warned yet, but you are in the path of where this tornado would be. Again, could be. They had a confirmed tornado warning, confirmed tornado before, but as Taylor was saying, it could be a short-lived tornado that might have already at this point in time lost its umph. So it's like frame by frame. We only get a frame about every 3 minutes or so to really check out where we can see debris in our CC checker. I don't think that would be a confirmed tornado. That's in a wrong place that's in the middle of the bow. Because normally you want to see something like this, like a couple pixels of dark greens and blues. That's what we would be looking for what we call a debris signature. But for instance, we're not really seeing much of anything here, but this is where that tornado would be. It'd be a route right this direction heading toward Prague. So it is still a note for concern. There's the newest radar loop.
Yeah, and hey, Martin, I know that some people are saying that tornado sirens are going off in Oklahoma City right now, and I haven't heard those, but I do want to note that we are under a flash flood warning at the moment, and this actually may be the reason that we could hear some tornado sirens in the area. So at this point, they would be using them as outdoor warning sirens, not tornado sirens. There is no tornado in the Oklahoma City metro. However, the National Weather Service saying for Oklahoma City that their EAS activation requested. What that means is that you may on your phone get that very loud alert that's like an Amber Alert. So that is your WIA, your wireless emergency alert. And what they're saying from their flash flood warning here is that they are saying life-threatening flash flooding of creeks and streams. Let me tell you something about you're seeing on your screen right now. This is an area that does not have a pond. This is not an area that has a lake or a pond normally. I wish I had a picture of what this normally looks like because it is not an area that has a pond in it. Although you can see right now we have so much flooding that we're seeing ponding on the roadways, and we're also seeing what potentially is maybe a stalled out car, maybe a car that's stuck in flooded waters, not quite sure there. So I'm not quite sure why there would be tornado warnings in Oklahoma City other than this right here. Just obviously most of those main roads, they're fine, right? But every now and then you'll get into areas that are going to have a lot of ponding and a lot of flooding as this water is trying to go down. So just an update there. I'm seeing your message in the chat that you've got your tornado siren going off. My assumption is that it's for this rain. So I'll look and see if I can see any other major flooded areas, but I just saw this and I was like, holy moly. I mean, this is absolutely insane, the amount of water that piled up in this area.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, between the lack of rain we've had, which does cause the ground to not really want to soak up water, there's more of that ponding. Yeah, that's
holy moly. This is not, I mean, obviously this is what these areas are for, right? You want that water off the road. and onto the side of the road, you know, in those drainage areas. But still, that is a lot of water. That's a ton of water. And it looks like we may have some other situations going on the roads as well. So if you don't have to get out on the roads right now, don't, because it looks like we're having just a ton of, now, let me just mention also, this is the highway that is meant to deal with this type of situation. Your back roads, your neighborhood roads may be in a worse situation. Those intersections, those are places that we have cameras of, but just kind of an update there on the situation, holy moly, of what's
As a
going
lake
on
now.
in the city. Oh my gosh, that is absolutely insane. And it looks like maybe they're blocking off
Mhm.
something there. I'm not
I would
quite
probably think
sure.
they're blocking that off because it was probably covered. Addison, to answer your question, Lawton and Cash, yes, you are past the warning. You're just going to be seeing, leftover rainfall from now on. It's really just the eastern half of the state is what's looking for the severe weather. So western half of the state's doing good.
Ton of rain and just standing water in this area. So guys, make sure that you're safe on the roads. I don't think that this will be an issue tomorrow morning, but I think that's the major thing that's happening in the city. Outside of the city is going to be, of course, we're going to pull up the radar one more time, that confirmed tornado warning. However, because this is so far outside of the metro, we are not going to cover this for too much longer. We're going to get in your last few questions, and then we're going to hop off of here because we cover things that are inside the metro. Great question here. Was it a confirmed tornado that struck the Will Rogers Airport? I haven't seen any reports of confirmed tornado. We know just to the east of Will Rogers Airport in Valley Brook that we had some extreme winds. 80-mile-per-hour wind speeds were reported. Down power lines were reported. Down trees were reported also in this area, but I haven't seen any confirmation yet of Will Rogers. However, looking at radar, when those storms came through, I would not be surprised if that tornado was on the ground, because radar
Mhm.
looked very, very promising for there to be a tornado.
For sure. Just to reiterate, new warning. It looks a little weird because you've got two different polygons kind of cut off. This is actually because we're going different offices. We're now going to the NWS in Tulsa office. This is what Okima's covered underneath. So this right here is the same warning just about for winds going up to 70 miles an hour. This does include Okima, Walikta, Henrietta. So it is continuing. The bow is looking a little less impressive now, but we still have that confirmed tornado warning over at Prague. As of right now, still continuing, remains into effect until 10:30, which is 9 more minutes. So they are either going to be letting that expire, or NWS at Tulsa will be issuing a new tornado warning that more likely will be moving into Boley, Payton, and Castle, and possibly clipping to the northern section of Okima.
And I think that those are all of our questions right now. As always, put your questions in the comments section. We're pretty good about getting back to the questions after this is over. If anything else pops up in some of our major cities like Tulsa or Kansas City is out of the severe weather risk, though, as of now. We will hop back on here. Until then, we'll be watching storms tomorrow as well, so make sure that you follow us for more weather updates. If there are any big storms from tonight that we get videos and pictures from, you guys tag us in those videos and pictures, and we will share them on the Hail Trace social media pages. Thanks for joining us tonight on this Friday night. I'm meteorologist Taylor Cox here with meteorologist Martin Lauermore, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.